not. Some mechanism has to deal with this creature. Varroa mites feed on the nutrition of the bees. They're feeding on the fat body that contains the proteins, the fats, the macro and micronutrients. They're also going into the cells, and they're feeding on the next generation. And then not only are they swiping our nutrition, they are injecting them with viruses and bacteria. And they're destroying that whole area. It's not just, okay, we're going to steal some. It destroys that fat body. They're not able to ever use it the same way again. So stealing nutrition is bad enough. And if we get a year like we did this year, where we go over 2 months without rain in our pod and our wing stem and everything like that's not producing the pollens and nectars like it needs to, then our bees are going to be in dire straits because the nutrition's not there. The Varroa population has been building up all spring. They're stealing from the nutrition of the bee. The bees are living shorter because of the lack of nutrition. And then on top of that, they're being fed upon. And then you have the whole virus. And then the beekeeper comes into his hive in October, November, December. There's honey in the hive, and there's no bees or very few. And this is due to fall absconding. Now there's a lot of variables here, and there's a lot of stuff we still don't know, but I can tell you right now that if the Varroa population's up, nutrition's down, you are going to have high bee losses. Excuse me. You are going to have colonies that looked really good in spring, looked okay in summer, and that are gone or very small going into winter. One of the scapegoats that I hear a lot in my area in Tennessee is winter killed my bees. It was so cold. But I know beekeepers who are extremely successful who overwinter in areas that get -20 and -30 degrees. We don't get that cold in Tennessee. What we do get is a lot of moisture. But I'm here to tell you, I don't use anything for moisture in winter. I have a migratory lid, I throw that on the hive, and that's it. I don't do anything to get rid of the moisture. I'm not saying you shouldn't do something. I'm just telling you that big hives do great without it. I've got some colonies right now that are 16, 17, 18 frames of bees coming out of winter. They're brooding up like crazy. Great queens, dead mites, and good nutrition. That's what we preach. When you take care of those Varroa mites, it is going to make a big difference. And I strongly suggest that you try it out. Keep them under control, see the difference. I did treatment free for about 3 to 4 years. And I still dabble in it. I do. I want to raise the best bees that we can. We raise our own queens, we make our own splits. We want to create a bee that is resistant as possible. However, the bees have no natural resistance towards this pest that is significant. They can groom themselves a little bit. They can pull out brood like in the VSH breeds of bees. And that does help to a degree. But it only slows down the inevitable in my experience. And I'm always open to trying to learn new things about it. I truly, again, hope that one day I'm up here saying we have a full immune bee one day. But the reality of it is, even if they got immune to Varroa, what about something other pests that they're already talking about? One day might make it to our shores. And I think most of us have lived long enough to be able to see changes happen. Change always happens. So I think we need to stay ahead of the curve and working together. And that's one thing I really want to push. Whether you are a top bar hive beekeeper, whether you use Langstroth equipment like I do, or whether you use polystyrene 10-frame equipment because you like the insulated benefits, whatever you're using, we've got to stop all this division stuff in beekeeping. Everyone's got their own camps. You know, I'm in the insulated camp, or I'm in the treatment-free camp, or I'm in the treatment camp. Overall, I think we all want our bees to do well. We want them to survive. We want to do what's best for our bees. I just think that we need to focus more on working together, because that's what the bees do. One bee by itself is extremely weak. They cannot survive. The queen is nothing by herself. But one bee by itself is going to perish. Not to mention what drones, they can't hardly do anything without being fed by a worker bee. They have to work together. As an individual, they are a very weak insect, to be honest. As a collective, they are one of the most amazing things in the world. As beekeepers, we have got to do the same. This YouTube channel has really opened my eyes to the diversity of beekeepers around the world, the different methods that we use to take care of our bees. The equipment that we have is more for the beekeeper than it is for the bees. I have pulled bees out of rafters, I have pulled bees out of tires, I have pulled bees out of tanks. I've seen them pulled out of diesel tanks, I've seen them pulled out of water meters. They've gone into engine blocks. And you know what? I've seen some of the biggest colonies up against pressure-treated wood. I've seen a lot of weird things. But you know what? All those colonies have the right conditions met. As beekeepers, do we have good nutrition in our hives? Do our hives have enough feed to thrive? Not just enough to kind of hang on. But a varroa or some other pest bothering our bees, are they consuming our bees? Are they eating our next generation? Are we testing to see if they're not? And if so, are we doing something to encourage that genetic trait to go through the rest of our colonies? And that's where it gets a little interesting, because we only have 2 or 3 hives or something like that. It's really hard to start grafting and making your own splits. And we've got some videos we're doing this year on that. We've already done a few, but it doesn't take that many hives to make your own queens, really. You don't need a whole lot of queens.